And greetings and welcome to the QCast. This is season 4, episode 42. And this one's pretty incredible, folks, because wait till you hear some of the accolades that the next QCast guest here today has received in her career. They're pretty unbelievable, but like hot off the presses, like within the last hour, folks, Elyce Knudsen has been named the Laurie Curran CCIW Most Outstanding Student Athlete once again. And Elyce, you've done some unbelievable things in your career. You've led your team to some unbelievable things. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing? How's everything in Decatur?
Thank you for having me. It's great. Another year representing the Big Blue as a senior, and kind of have gotten things rolling, and we've been competing at a high level, and that's all that I want each season. So I've been enjoying it.
Just on the individual side, which I know isn't the important side, but today marks the 4th time that you've been named a first team all CCIW player. It's the 3rd time that you've been named the CCIW most outstanding student athlete. I mean, Elyce, that's really, really hard to do. There are great players in the history of this league that have not accomplished those things. How do you process all that as you look back now on 4 years?
It's unreal. And sometimes I don't even get the chance to kind of sit down and process it because I'm so in tune with kind of bettering my craft here and making sure that we're firing on all cylinders. But it's something that I set out for myself when I decided to come to Millikin, and I thought it was attainable. But without the work that I put in, I mean, this is not achievable at all. And I think as the years have gone on, I've just been able to kind of perfect my craft and understand my own game, which I don't think I could really get at any other university.
Yeah, I want to get into the work piece as we go through this too, because that's something that people will get a lot out of. But let's just start with the Big Blue here, 21-4. You finished the conference 13-3, and you end up in this crazy CCIW situation where you guys swept IWU, IW swept Carroll, Carroll swept you. You end up as the 3 seed, meaning like you've got to play a game tomorrow. So you've got Elmhurst. Tell me about the Elmhurst prep, and are we feeling like we're ready to go here tomorrow?
We're feeling ready to go. We know that they'll probably throw some kind of pressure at me, either no catch or something like that. It's something that we prepare for every time. We're assuming that they're going to press. We've seen a lot of presses this year. So we kind of just try to focus on that in practice, pushing the pace and just making sure we're staying on top of our defensive principles. I think we're hoping to just run them out of the gym and kind of keep it high pace the whole game.
Yeah, you've won twice against them. The first game was way back as like 3 years ago. It feels like on December 6th, you beat them 95-50. And then the away game was tougher. You beat them by 13 points, 93-80. Is it easier to play a team 3 times just because you know them so well? Is it tougher because they know you so well? I mean, what do you think about that, Elyce?
It's definitely tougher. I mean, even the second go around, you've seen, even in my position, you've seen some of these players for 3+ years. So not only do they understand your individual game, but they kind of understand your team's principles. So they'll have a lot of fire underneath them. They're playing to keep their name into the tournament. It's the first time they've been in the tournament for a while. So we're expecting their best effort. But we know we got to play to the best of our ability every game from here on out.
In these games, you've played in a bunch of these. You've played in a bunch of these games where both teams win or go home. You've played in a bunch of these, and those are a whole nother animal, aren't they? When you think about like your last tournament game last year, you think about these conference tournament games, the way that Elmhurst will come out tomorrow. Talk about the difference this time of year when it's like win or go home.
It's definitely different now since I'm a senior and kind of the girls we have on our team. It's a different level. I mean, we had a couple girls coming in here grinning ear to ear, and I was like, "What are you smiling for?" And they're just like, "We're ready. Like, I'm ready to go. We know what's on the line. We know what's at stake." You just see a different fire in each player because this is when it does matter. And that's just cool to see. They're playing for something. You understand that they're playing for something, not only for themselves, but for the seniors and the program itself. So it's just cool to be a part of, and it's cool to see.
Yeah, it's really a fun time of year. And I should stress for those tuning in that Elyce's team is not win or go home. Like they can lose and not go home. So I can promise you that. I've looked at the resumes. The Big Blue are good. Carroll's good. The Titans are good. The CCIW is in an amazing place here. So everyone could take a deep breath and play basketball, at least in those top three.
Yes.
Last year, you won the biggest, most prestigious award that's given in Division III, which is the Jostens Award, Elyce. And there's really three components of that award which make it so special. You got the athletic component, the academic component, and the service component. Like, what are you doing in the community? That was a big deal. That was a big deal to win that thing. Talk about what it meant to win the Jostens.
Oh, amazing. I know Coach and I had talked about it following my sophomore year. Kennedy Schoenfeld had won it for Hope. Tremendous player, tremendous athlete. And I was lucky to kind of go head to head against her my sophomore year. And Coach pulled it up on the TV and she said, "This is something that we need to focus on striving for. I think you can win this." And I remember looking at her and being like, "There's no way that I can win this award." Like, just seeing the previous names. And she said, "We're going to strive for everything." So then I just kind of went to work, figured out how I could enhance my play on the floor, what I can do in the community. And then academically, that's always been my priority here at the university. So I was actually away when I found out. I was in Florida visiting my aunt following the season, just wanted to get away. I said, "Season's over. I just want to spend some time alone." And I remember getting the call and I just broke down in tears. I was thanking our sports information director. He was the one who gave me the news. And I just thanked him for having the opportunity to play at the university. And I called my mom crying. It was very overwhelming, just the things that I've been through as an athlete and the things that I've been told. It was just kind of like that knock in the mouth. Like, no, I can do this. I can do what I set my mind to and just keep dreaming big. So.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations on the Jostens. It is again, it is such a prestigious award. What was it kind of cool that the CCIW swept the Jostens last year? So
Yes, it was amazing. I was
right?
I was in awe when he won it from Wheaton. And our conference, both men and women, are just dominant, at least in the years that I've been here, and it's so cool to see and be a part of.
Yeah, I thought that was a really neat moment for the league to think that the men and the women both have the Jostens trophy. I thought that was really cool.
Yes.
Academically a little bit. So I do a little research, Elyce, on these QCasts. I don't just turn on the thing and let's go. So here I am, like earlier today, I'm watching this Make It Millikin video. Make It Millikin. This Illinois Wesleyan guy is watching Make It Millikin. And I've learned you're a finance major. So let's first check in on that. So still a finance major, I assume. And what do we want to do when we graduate and leave?
Yeah, so I was accounting my first 2 years and then I ended up switching to finance. I kind of wanted to see like the sports world. I know I didn't want to get away from it and I was still unsure about coaching. So after making a few phone calls, they were like, "Finance is a good route if you want to stay in sports." And I was like, perfect. So the past few years have been great. The professors have been great. And then I took an internship for a small business. They had just added the CFO position. So it was pretty neat to see. He was learning a lot while I was learning a lot. So we were bouncing ideas off of one another, which was a tremendous learning experience. And then now I'm kind of looking into the healthcare sector. So if that's a CFO for a hospital, something of that nature, kind of just narrowing down my options. And I've been lucky enough to have contacts to kind of bounce ideas off of. And just this university has been of tremendous help to kind of search for a career path.
When you think about like the real world, whenever that comes to be, what will you take from playing team sports? I know that you've not just been a hooper. I think you were a great softball player before. What will you take from team sports out to the business world, the real world, wherever you land someday?
Teamwork, and I would say hard truths. I've been told a lot of hard truths here, and I think that's kind of elevated my individualism and then kind of my play on the court, who I am as a person. And I think it's good to hear those hard truths as an athlete to prepare you career-wise. I've been lucky enough to have an NIL deal with a local business, and their CEO has pushed like athletes know how to work in the work field.
Sure.
And He's reiterated that to me over and over again. So to kind of hear his perspective is interesting. But I mean, definitely a lot of takeaways rather than winning games and scoring a lot of points.
I want to ask you a little bit of how the heck you got to Division III, because I had Carroll's women's head coach on, Lindsay Schultz, about 2 weeks ago, and we got into a conversation about where you could play. And I said she could play in the Missouri Valley easily. I saw our Titans play the Redbirds this year, and I watched that game and I thought to myself, Elyce could play for the Redbirds. I believe that to be true. So what I'm asking here is how the heck do you end up at Division III, which is wonderful, because I spend most of this QCast talking about how most Division III studs could play higher, and here you are. So like, how did Coach Lett land Elyce Knudsen? Tell me about that.
Right. So for the longest time, as I've told a lot of people, I really thought my college athletic path was going to be softball. You know, I was a first team all area. I was all state. I was leading in batting average above Bailey Dowling, who now plays for the University of Alabama. Wow. So I was playing at a higher level in softball, not as much in basketball. And I was also being told I was undersized to play college basketball. So I was like, softball it is, you know, there's no way. And then freshman year of high school, I was filling in for Springfield Predators. I was playing with Abby Ratch, who played with us the past 3 years. And coach was obviously recruiting her, and she saw me kind of break a press single-handedly, not really scoring a lot of points, but just handling the ball for that team. And from then on out, she was sending me letters. This is what we want you to do. We want you to be more of a scoring threat here at the university, yada, yada, yada. And she was in contact, like pursuing heavily all the way through my senior year. And then luckily we had a coaching change my junior year. I was then named to All-State Honorable Mention. I was scoring a little bit more points, doing a lot more for my high school. And then I was like, okay, maybe basketball is the route. Maybe it's something that we can actually kind of consider. And I also had JUCOs reaching out. First, I wanted to go the JUCO route. I was like, let's play 2 years and then see if I even want to play anymore. So that was also an option. And then senior year, we ended up having a 21 season. We won a regional for the first time in forever. And I was really enjoying it. And then I don't want to say luckily, my softball season got canceled because of COVID. Wow. So I was like, basketball it is. It's the closest thing that I have that I just got done playing. And I kept Coach Lett on her toes for a really long time. I think I made my decision late April, gave her a call, and she was super thrilled. I was super thrilled. My family was excited. And I mean, being close to home, I'm only like an hour away. They were excited because they were going to be able to be in the stands and travel to a lot of games. But I like to say that Coach Lett, through those 4 years, she wasn't selling something to me. She was mentoring me. I remember sitting down after we'd played at Bloomington Central Catholic, and she sat down with me and she's like, what do you think you did wrong? What do you think you did right? What can you improve on? And that was something that I wasn't getting at the time from any other coach. Wow. And I think that's kind of just what sold it for me. I was like, if she can develop me as an individual and a player, that's exactly what I want, and win games at the same time. So kudos to her. She did a great job, and she's done a great job for me here at the university. A lot of my accolades, I mean, I can't say enough about how good she's been to me and the mentor she's been. So.
You know, I had her, this is the year 4 of the QCast. In year 1 of the QCast, Coach Lett joined me, and it was right after your freshman year ended, I believe, because we talked about, I asked her that question of like, how did you land her? And so she told her side of the story. You'll have to go back and watch that episode. Do you think, Elyce, does it help your relationship with Coach Lett in terms of like her coaching you that she was like a similar player in terms of like she was a scorer, and she was the best player on the team, and she was the MOP, and she was an All-American. Like, is there anything about that relationship that like she kind of gets what you're going through, or talk through that a little bit?
Yes, it definitely translates. I know when we meet, it's kind of like we're always referring back to her experience, and I'm all ears because she's been through it, and she won a national championship. And And that's kind of also another reason why it sold it for me. Like, she's been through it. If I want to win a national championship at this level, she knows what it takes. And I think she, a lot of the time, kind of translates her play to mine. She doesn't take it easy on me whatsoever. I remember we used to play one-on-one, and she's not giving me anything easy. And she gets on me still, like, all the time. It's not, whatever is not good enough, it's not good enough. And I understand that. And she knows what I'm capable of. Cause again, she's gone through the same kind of thing, and played at 2 different levels, Division I and Division III.
Yes.
So, it's definitely been tremendous being a player underneath her and learning from her.
I mean, she couldn't beat you one-on-one currently, could she? There's no way, right?
No, I don't think so now. I mean, she would
No
give me
way.
the best shot, but we haven't played in a really long time.
There's no way. There's no way she could guard you. That's all I'm saying. And plus she wears these super high heels nowadays, right? Like,
Right.
that's
Right.
all I'm saying is those are the highest. She's like 6'1", and you know, watching these streams, she's like 6'6". So
Right. Yes.
yeah, I would live stream that if you guys wanted to play sometime after you graduate. And there's just no way she can guard you.
Yes.
Some more like superlative type stuff here. This is I checked this out earlier today. Here's your career totals, like in live real time as we speak. You've scored 2,167 points. You have 490 rebounds. You have 295 assists and 224 steals. So over 97 games, if we just, you know, you do the division, here's your average game, right, is 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. I mean, that's not normal, Elyce. Like, talk about the work part of it. Talk about how you get yourself ready each season, and then in the season, like, talk about the hard work part of it.
Yeah, it's to kind of look back and think about all the work that I have put in and kind of how that's changed over my 4 years is kind of crazy to me. I don't really get the chance to think about it. But I would say now, I'm coming in here and I'm taking the shots that I know I'm going to take in a game. And if coach is in here rebounding for me, I tell her exactly where I need her, what kind of pass I want. And a lot of those times, those are bad passes. I say, I don't ever get tremendous passes, so pass me a bad pass, please. But with that, I've kind of seen my craft kind of grow, and I've understood my game to another level that when I come in here, it's a 45-minute workout and I'm done. I'm drenched in sweat, but I'm done in that time span and I can enjoy the rest of my day. So I'm getting in here, I'm spending about 10 minutes on ball handling, getting that done as quick as possible. And then after that, it's doing a little bit of a shooting workout. That's also getting my conditioning in. And this is usually summer preseason. And I'm working out close to 5 times a week in the summer. And then right before season starts, it's almost every day. And kind of just working on my shot, coming off of screens, reading different things. Coach always tells me, envision what kind of defense they're playing on you, which is difficult, very difficult. She'll tell me when I'm taking the wrong shot. She's like, a defender's not going to guard you like that. Why are you taking that shot? So kind of doing that thing. And then, rebounding's obviously hard to practice, but in practice, I'm in here and I'm just going hard. I mean, I think my teammates can attest to that. Coach can attest to that. I'm going to outwork you. Like when I see you're tired, I'm going to outwork you. And that's kind of just been my mentality, and understanding that when I'm in the gym, I'm not going to waste my time. I think you see a lot of players come in here, spend 2 hours in the gym, and they're not even tired. Well, what'd you do? What'd you do spending your time in the gym? So I want to get in, I want to get tired. I want to get the job done. And I've learned that is more important over my 4 years. I would say my first year, that wasn't the case.
Sure.
And I've kind of just taken, accountability for myself and figured out, if you want to be great, this is how you're going to have to do it. And coach has helped, of course, with that. So
were you always such a good like mid-range shooter? I think like the deadliest part of your game. I mean, you can shoot the 3 and get to the basket, but to me, it's always the person that can just like off the dribble hit like a 17-footer, even off balance. Like that takes work too, right? That's not an accidental thing that you're throwing those shots in all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely, I think it's been a part of my game. It's definitely gotten better as I've gotten stronger too. But But again, I'm coming in here, I'm catching it off screens in the middle, and I'm usually shooting, the elbow, the middle of the floor, the other elbow, a little bit in the wing, but I think now I know what shots I'm taking, and I'm doing that either off the dribble, off a bad pass. And I had a woman come up to me after Transylvania, and she pulled me aside and she said, what you can do in the lane is absolutely tremendous. And that's kind of something that stuck with me. And this summer going into this season, it's kind of just something that I've focused on. And it's one of my favorite shots. So why not keep practicing it?
Sure.
I mean, that's all I can say. So yeah.
The women's game is in such a great place. And I got to ask you about like the Caitlin Clark situation and see like, what's going on with her and that whole story and what she's doing? Like she's such a role model and an inspiration. Give me your thoughts on what you're seeing from Caitlin Clark and what she's doing just in terms of women's basketball in general.
It's truly remarkable, admirable. Sometimes I'm sitting there watching the TV, and like the game when she broke the record, I remember I had a water bottle in my hand and she hit a 3-pointer with an and one. And I just threw my water bottle down and I said, I don't know what I'm watching right now. And to just think like she's the same age as me and doing these things for women's sports. And I can only hope that I'm doing, half of that for this division, because I don't think we get a lot of recognition as much as they do. And, but I mean, it's truly admirable. I mean, she is literally the face of college sports, and that is so cool for me at this age, in this position that I'm in, to kind of watch that and her in her prime, and what she has been able to do for young girls. And you can see it translate when you watch any game, and people are watching her all over the world, women, girls, people of any age. And I just love what she says. She's 22 years old and she keeps her dreams big, and I think that's huge to understand.
Well, I think you are doing that, right? It's like, you're not playing in front of 22,000 people. You're playing in front of whatever at your D3 Griswold. And,
Right.
but there are young girls that are at the gym every day that you're Caitlin Clark to them, right? They probably don't even know Caitlin Clark, but they know Elyce Knudsen, right? So that is who you are. Our men had a game Saturday, and after the game, there was these neat little photos someone sent me of all these little kids getting Ryan Soroka's autograph, and like they don't know he's a D3 guy. They just know they came to the game and that guy's good, So like there are little girls at the Griswold that you're Caitlin Clark to them. Just a couple more things, and then I'll let you go because I know how busy you are getting ready for like a huge game tomorrow. But in terms of just, what happens next, and I asked you this question off air to make sure I could ask you this on air. But you have a year of eligibility left because you are a true senior, which means you've got that COVID year from your freshman year. Do you know yet what you're going to do? And are you going to move on? Are you going to play again, or where are you at right now?
I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm taking the academic standpoint along with the athletic standpoint. It's kind of something that I've been discussing with my parents and coach. So kind of just trying to figure out the best path for me and what's best for me. We've talked a lot about just enjoying the moment and enjoying where I'm at with the people I have. And that's kind of been the motto for this season and for myself. But definitely keeping options open. I'm lucky to be in have this opportunity to, kind of just be where I'm at. So kind of just taking everything into consideration, but also enjoying what I have with what I have left. So yeah, I don't want to miss out on a year of playing basketball. That's what I tell people. I think if I'm 35, 40, and I think about the fact that I had another year to play the game I love and I didn't take that opportunity, I think I would regret it for the rest of my life. So.
Well, I think you would too. And look, I'm an Illinois Wesleyan guy, so I should be on here telling you like you need to go get a job. Like it's time. You need I should be sending people to like offer you jobs. But I really in good faith. What I have to tell you is that if you didn't play that year, you'd regret that. So unfortunately, that's what I have to tell you, Elyce. That's my advice. And then last question, just a little. I want you to give some thoughts about your teammates. You've played at Millikin during a really great era where you've had a lot of talent around you. You've been the leading scorer this whole time, but boy, you've had some people around you doing the dirty work, getting the rebounds, other people you can kick to that are making shots. Talk a little bit about your teammates.
Oh, I could talk forever and ever. I know the newspaper always asks me, do you have any lasting thoughts? And I'm like, do I get a chance to shout out my teammates? They never get the recognition that they deserve when you're talking one-on-one to me. But another reason why I decided to come here, the likes of Abby Ratch, who played at Springfield High, Bailey Kaufman, Miranda Fox, who played at Effingham, a lot of local kids that had local ties that just made this decision so much easier for me. And who I knew competed at a high level and were just kind of had that underdog mentality, which is what I had, the last 2 years of high school. That's what I wanted to play with and who I wanted to play with. Miranda Fox was tremendous for us. I mean, didn't want to shoot the ball, but I wanted her on the floor with me at all times, could get rebounds, could take charges. I mean, I don't even know over her 4 years what she averaged in charges. I mean, that's ridiculous, but kind of just did everything for us, literally the dirty work. I had the privilege of playing with Jordan Hildebrand, who became one of my best friends. I've never had the chance to play with a best friend.
She was good.
Well, yes, loved playing basketball as much as I did. Tremendous, just a hard worker, strong. I think shot a little bit over 50% her fifth year, and I'm so glad she took it because we got to enjoy some really good games together. Aubrey Staten from El Paso Gridley, again, a local kid, could shoot the three well. Tremendous leader. Like, these are leaders that I learned from and put me in the position that I'm in today. Abby Ratch, she went through an ACL injury, but came back for us last year and kind of just got back to where she was her previous 2 years. And then I can't speak enough about Bailey Kaufman, just amazing. She would be the star player on any other team. And I've had the privilege of, assisting her from the 3-point arc and watching her do her thing and play tremendously well this 5th year. And I was lucky enough to, kind of be at the forefront and helping her make that 5th year decision. And I'm glad she took it because she's been a tremendous leader for us. Besides just scoring the points and taking charges. And then Sophie Darden has been amazing. I'm so glad that I've had the chance to play with her. She's improved. I know she's had her ups and downs, but, averaging close to a double-double with 16 points, a first-team all-conference kid this year. Just amazing. She's done so much for us this year. And, buzzer beater against Wesleyan. I know she's hype about that. It's a video.
I didn't like it. I thought we had you. No, seriously, let's just get into this real quick. I mean, we had you, and we had you, and it just unraveled on us, and down there at your place, that was a tough one. It was a good game for 3 quarters, and then we didn't have you. But that game at the Shirk, your girl, I mean, we had you until that moment, Elyce. I got to tell you, I was not liking that thing.
It was unreal. I remember like those last 2 minutes, I just kind of didn't even know where I was. I was like, let's just play baseline out of bounds defense, get some steals. And I didn't even know what the score was. And then I look and it's a 2-point game. And I'm like, okay, it was crazy. Just in a crazy environment. The game was one of my
It was a great crowd at the Shirk in that game, right? It was a great crowd. It was loud. It was intense. You guys brought tons of people there. I was just watching on a stream here from Dallas, Texas, and I was like, that crowd is awesome. Now, as you look ahead to the conference tournament, tomorrow, like, you got to win that game. So, like, this is a disclaimer to say that like, you got to get it done tomorrow. Should you be able to advance, that environment Thursday, pretty awesome, right? To think about like those 4 teams, whichever 4 it ends up being, in the same building there, that's got to get you pretty excited, right? What that environment would be like.
Yes. I'm so glad to have, our conference be so strong this year on the women's side, and to compete against some great players. I don't think a lot of other athletes in this league get to compete against such high level until they're, out of conference NCAA tournament. And I'm grateful enough to, kind of go head to head with some of the best, literally, quite frankly. So, and to do it at another location, I know it's different from my past years, but it'll be a crazy environment. I'm glad to be able to do it just 45 minutes away so we can have, Big Blue support us as well.
Yeah, if you guys get it done tomorrow, you get, I think the way the pairings work, you'd get Carroll, right? And they're great. Like we mentioned, is they swept you, and we mentioned the triangle of sweep, the triangle of death. Is that, they've got you twice. They have Olivia Rangel and a whole bunch of studs, so they're good. And so yeah, this is gonna be really fun. And again, you've got a big step tomorrow that you've got to take care of some business first.
Of course.
I tell you what, Elyce, like you are really what Division III is all about. Like the decision you made to come to Millikin and Division III, the work you've put in, the fact you're a better player today than you were as a freshman, because you've worked at it. You won the Jostens, so like you're kind of the poster child for YD3. And I'll give you the last word. You're gonna have Big Blue Nation tuning in, D3 Nation. Who else it tunes in? I don't know, but a lot of people are going to watch this episode, Elyce. And so I'm going to give you the final word here on the QCast today.
Well, I just want to say thank you for having me on. I want to say thank you to Millikin University for the opportunity to compete. My teammates, Coach Lett, my family, my friends, and Division III as a whole. I mean, this league and this division has been great to me. The competition is fierce. I mean, some of the kids that I go against could play wherever they desire.
Absolutely.
And that's something that, I didn't think was the case when I decided to come here. So Division III, I love it. I've been grateful to compete at such a high level in it. And I'm just grateful and thankful for the opportunity to do so at this level. So, and go Big Blue.
Go Big Blue, she says. And boy, it's on, because I mean, my team is hosting this tournament, and I'm saying go Titans. And look, I'd like to see a third game. That's all I'm going to say. I'd like to see that matchup, because that would be unbelievable. Mm-hmm. But boy, Elyce, you are amazing. Again, folks, this is the Jostens winner from last year. This is the CCIW Most Outstanding Student Athlete for a third year in a row, fourth time on the first team. And oh, by the way, she's been a first team All-American as well. I forgot to add that in there. Elyce, you're awesome. Really appreciate it. It's a pleasure watching you play, because you play the game the right way. And even though I can't root for your team to beat my team, I can root for you to do really well. How can I say that? Like you
can't say that.
You could score 40 at the Shirk on Saturday, and that'd be great. But you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, right?
Yep.
Elyce, thank you. You're awesome.
Thank you very
so much.
much.